Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. Blake Snell is a really good pitcher. He won the Cy Young Award for Tampa Bay just 2 years ago. But if the fans had the vote in the future, he wouldn't win another one. Snell said, "You all got to understand, for me to take a pay cut is not happening because my risk is going through the roof. I got to get my money. I'm not playing unless I get mine." Well, what's his is 5 years, $50 million. Blake, let me give you some math. The risk is big whether it's 5 years and $50 million or 10 years and $100 million. If the risk is too big, Blake, go get a safer job in another profession. You might not find one, however. We know there's a risk, but it's not what this argument is all about, is it, Blake? We've got Paul-Hoynes here. More Sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Thursday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into its 24th consecutive year, powered by cleveland.com. It's baseball season. Oh, no, it should be baseball season. The good news on that is that we have that guy here, Paul-Hoynes. Hoynesy, we stole you away from Major League Baseball to have an appearance tonight.
Yeah, I wasn't doing anything else, Les. I got plenty of time on my hands.
Well, the drivers in Northeast Ohio are safe tonight because normally when you come on the show, you're practicing your rant and you're going all over the road, I'm told. I have witnesses out there who told me you just flail away out there.
That's right. I've got I should just put bubble wrap around the car and protect myself and everybody else.
That's what they mean. Stay safe out there. Stay away from Hoynesy when he's driving. 216-575-0403 is the number. You see it at the bottom of the screen. Email us during the show, reallesLevine@gmail.com. Hoynesy, I got to be the most naive guy in the world. I thought that the only thing holding Major League Baseball from having a season this year was the approval of the doctors and the scientists and all that, and it turns out they have to get this silly contract going. Wouldn't you think cooler heads would prevail and say, let's just go with whatever we've got and worry about a contract next year, or am I totally naive about that?
Yeah, well, Les, you know the history between the owners and the players, and they're coming off as tone deaf, both sides. This is if you don't know what's going on in the country, you've had your head stuck in the sand, and you would think that they could reach a quick compromise, and people would be getting ready for spring training in June and the season in July. But that's not the way it works. Both of these sides are driven by money, and I think eventually a compromise will be reached, but not until it's absolutely necessary. They'll take this down right to the deadline, and then hopefully they'll settle. I think they will, but it's not going to be easy.
All right, so for morale of the country, I think we need baseball, we need basketball, we need football. Somebody's getting some bad advice on this thing here. You say they're going to play it out till the end, and I believe that because that's what they always do. But why don't they just play the games if the scientists and doctors tell us they can, and then worry about it in the off season? Go haggle it out and do whatever you want to do and mess it up that way. Why won't they do that?
Well, I think the players feel like they made a compromise on March 26th. After the season was delayed, they agreed. That if there was no season, they wouldn't get paid as long as they, were able to equal the service time they earned in 2019. And now the owners are coming, and then they said if there is a season, we take our salaries on a prorated basis depending on the number of games we played. Now the owners are coming back with another proposal, a 50-50 proposal to split the revenue, and the players feel like that's not only a salary cap, but they'll probably get paid less. So that's the crux of it. you would, and you know, and I also think you know that I understand the players, you know, fear and trepidation about playing again. I think you know, they're exposing themselves. The managers, the coaches, staff members, the players. The owners aren't. They're going to be up in the owners box, or maybe sitting in their man caves watching the games on TV like the rest of us. But
They can sit in any
but
seat they
you know,
want.
so there is that, you know, and I understand there is that. I think it's a legitimate concern.
Well, it doesn't take a math genius to figure out if you don't have fans in the stands, you're dealing with a different dollar figure than you were dealing when it was supposed to go on as normal. I mean, the players can't look at empty seats and say the teams are making a ton of money. I don't see how they can do that. I know the TV money is big, but it doesn't account for each team putting 2 million, selling 2 million tickets a season, and then playing it that way. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they say, you know, most teams, like, you know, about 40% of their revenue is generated by attendance, concessions, parking, merchandise, and like you said, Les, with no fans in the stands, they, you know, that money goes away. That money's not there, um, and I think you know, in those March 26th negotiations, you know, there was a stipulation in there that they would revisit, you know, the salary structure if, you know, the games were going to be played with no fans. So, you know, I think there was some nebulous language in there, and it's too bad both sides didn't hammer it out when they did, when they had a chance, and now it's the sticking point. It seems to be.
It just seems that, like what Blake Snell said today, and we'll go over that, but it seems that they're saying there's a risk, which there is, but there's a risk whether they got $10 million a year in a salary contract or $20 million. The risk is still going to be there. It's not going to be
Sure.
the risk won't be less for a marginal major league roster player as it is to a former Cy Young Award winner. The risk is the same.
Exactly, exactly, and you know, everybody who steps on the field is, or in the clubhouse or whatever. You know, what if you're walking into the ballpark,
Yeah,
you
the
know, you're
hotels.
taking that
Yeah.
gamble, and
All right, let's
so
look, Heinze, let's look at the return to play proposal here and see what we're talking about here. For the 2020 season, this is the return to try to get back to play. 50-50 split of the revenue from the 2020 season, an 82-game schedule instead of 162, mid-June spring training as an early July opening day, and playoff field expands from 10 to 14 teams. Who would be against anything on that one, splitting it 50-50? It looks pretty fair to me on both sides.
right, and you know, the players believe, you know, the 50-50 split is a form of a salary cap. They've struck over the salary cap, you know, for time and time again. I think there's a fear that when the basic agreement ends after the 2021 season, that the owners would come back with that. Now, I don't know. Like, these are extreme circumstances. You would think, okay, you could do this for a year, and then we go back and negotiate just like we always did for the same system we always had.
As a fan, Hoynes, and a guy who's covered baseball since the early 80s, is there any part of you that can't wait to see a game with nobody in the stands? I mean, you did that covering the Indians at the Municipal Stadium.
Yeah,
So
I did that a lot.
right.
I did that a lot at the old stadium.
Yeah.
And, you know, in spring training, the crowds are
Right.
sparse. And, you know, if you go to a B game in the morning, there's nobody there in spring training.
Except
but
the crack of the bat.
It will be interesting. You know, I think it'll be, you know, I think it'll be tough for the players. You know, I was talking to Jordan Luplow about that, and he was, you know, he was saying, like, for the first 10 or 15 games, you come back, you be excited, and but then, you know, when you start playing back-to-back games and you're maybe a doubleheader in there, and you know, you're tired, you're kind of sore, and you're looking for a shot of adrenaline from the crowd, and nobody's there, you know.
And nobody's there.
I think that's kind of an interesting situation that the players are going to have to deal with.
I also want to, I'm a little curious about, on the coverage of the games on television, if you'll be able to hear all the language that goes on the field.
Yeah, I know. We were talking to Tom Hamilton the other day on one of our podcasts on cleveland.com, and Hammy was worried about opening the windows during his broadcast, and having the umpires and the players and everybody else hear what he had to say. So that would be an interesting situation as
I
well.
can imagine.
It would be fun. It would be fun to listen to what's going on the field.
I can imagine that, and then as soon as something is said, you could hear 20 guys saying, "No, that wasn't me. That was that guy who said it over there."
That's right.
All right, we showed you what Blake Snell had to say, and Trevor-Bauer is always interesting on what he has to respond to. And Trevor-Bauer, of course, says the ask is basically to take more risk by getting back sooner and then take less pay than we've already agreed. We've agreed to take a 50% pay cut, and now they're asking us to take another one. A 50-50 revenue split has never been done in baseball. It's not collectively bargained. It would just be for one season. It doesn't sit well with me. Slightly lighthearted, though. I'd have to trust. But if I'm going to trust my salary to Rob Manfred, marketing the game and taking more money for the game, I'm out on that. He's not a big fan of Rob Manfred.
No, Manfred and him do not see eye to eye. As from going back all the way to when Drone Boy cut his finger, right. And Manfred wouldn't let him use the proper some kind of glue that he wanted to use on his finger, and that was ruled invalid. He couldn't use that. So him and Manfred have had a problem since.
Drone Boy.
Drone Boy.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at thereal-les-levine@gmail.com. Did you know the Ohio Lottery has paid over $1 billion in winnings over the last 6 months? People are winning in record numbers, and winning is happening around the state of Ohio. Play an Ohio Lottery game and play it today. Facebook is where you can find us, facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine. New content posted each and every day. We put up a question each day. You respond. We put it on the air. It's as simple as that. Paul-Hoynes and I return in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine, exclusively powered by cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Let's check out birthdays for today. Tony Perez, the Hall of Famer, born in 1942. Clay Potts, an art student. Dennis Martinez, the El Presidente. Roy Halladay met an early demise. Clay Matthews III, the one who should be signed by the Browns, I'm suggesting. Rob Gronkowski, who should not have been signed by the Browns, making a comeback after 1 year out. He was born in 1989. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. So you have any recollection of Dennis Martinez and what he meant to the ball club in the mid-90s?
Oh, I love Dennis Martinez. And we had a great, in Game 6 of the 1995 World Series, Bud Shaw, Bill Livingston, and me gave Dennis a ride to the ballpark, and he was the starting pitcher. He missed the bus. He missed the team bus to go to that, to get to the ballpark, Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. He jumped in the back seat with Livy, and Bud drove, and the security let us drive right up under the stadium. We dropped them off.
That's the road where I forget which pitcher it was who drove around for hours and hours and hours on their outer belt system.
Rafael Perez. It was Osvaldo Perez, one of the Perezes.
Right. 216.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you remember that.
No,
could you imagine?
That's my memory of Dennis.
If you guys didn't get him to the game on time, you guys would have been blamed for it.
Or we would have had a hell of a story.
216-575-0403. I can't wait to read your book. You got plenty of time to write one during this layoff.
You're not kidding, man.
216-575-0403. Here's a team, you talk about Francisco-Lindor. Here's a team that I would never have thought would be considered a possibility of where he's going to go. Did you read what Buster Olney said about Lindor and where he might go?
No, I did not.
Here's you would have never in a million years. How about Tampa Bay? One team to watch, according to Olney, I think would be very well suited.
Are you going to give him half the ball club?
Apparently. And the Yankees said that's not fair. One team to watch I think would be very well suited is the Tampa Bay Rays. They've got a deep bullpen. They have a deep roster. We won't typically think of them as a World Series contender, no kidding. But in a shortened season with the playing field somewhat level against a team like the Yankees, this would be unbelievable. And by the way, he even throws in who might make a good package. The Rays shortstop Willie Adams, 24 years old, second 2 major league seasons, hit .254 last year in 152 games, 20 homers and 52 RBIs. His rookie year, 10 homers in 85 games, so he's got some power. And Brent Honeywell is a right-handed pitcher, 25 years old. The number 6 prospect in the Rays organization, went 31-19, 2.88 ERA. Let me tell you something, Hoynesy. If that's what this is all about, a trade, if that's the best they can do, shame on everybody involved here.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I was thinking Tampa Bay was going to sign him. I mean, try to sign him as a free agent. But I guess if they were going to trade him, yes. I don't know if the market, the depleted market with these teams, this winter after taking losing revenue this year, if that would affect what they could get, what the Indians could get for Lindor, or if you're going to make a trade like that, you might as well keep him for 2021 and let him walk as a free agent.
Yeah, that doesn't look like you'd be giving up all that much. Are you totally convinced with the word that got out the other day that the Indians do want to sign him and are making efforts, but the agent and Lindor himself want to play out the free agent market? Are you convinced that the Indians want to make some kind of a deal with him? And B, are you convinced that he and his agent won't even speak to the Indians?
In spring training they were kind of talking, but I always thought that was more window dressing than anything else. I think Lindor is headed for free agency or a trade. He wants a bigger market. He wants to be paid like one of the top 5 players in the game. He's not going to get paid here. I think the Indians, would go to the limits, to the max, to try to extend him, to give him a 2-year extension, a 3-year extension. But I just don't think Lindor is in that mindset. I think he's he's gone after, either he gets traded after the end of this season or during this season when the freeze is lifted, or, he walks as a free agent. I can't see him being here long term.
And Paul Dolan will get ripped for it badly, even though it looks like he's making an effort to get together, unless it's a fake effort.
Yeah, I don't think he should get ripped. I mean, look at all the players they've been able to extend: Michael Brantley, CC Sabathia, Manny Ramirez, Ramirez, Carrasco, Kluber. I mean, they have gotten their best players to take at least one bite of the extension apple. And now, Carrasco's taken 2 or 3. And, Lindor was just not of that mindset. He just didn't want to do it after they offered him the $100 million extension going into his, after his first big league year, going into the 2017 season. And he said, no, to me, that ended it. I mean, he was, he had signed his walking papers.
Seth Carter, who's with Fansided, thinks that Willie Adams and Brent Honeywell would make a return package for Lindor, and it might be something the Indians might be interested in. We'll wait and see. That story is going to continue to change.
They're both controllable guys, young guys,
right.
I would think. But if you're going to trade Lindor, a franchise player, I mean, you've got to hit a home run. You can't be getting, you've got to get players that are going to help you right away, and you've got to get some prospects.
Yeah, and
now those are 2 guys that, the shortstop could help you right away, and the prospect, the pitcher, is a guy that's coming.
And that would be a tough sell for the front office to sell to the fans. There's no question about that. We'll wait and see. Although I agree with you. If that's the best they can do, you may as well keep them for whatever the season is going to be in 2020, and then keep them one more season. You're not giving up that much if you walk away from that deal, and you have a full season to go with Francisco-Lindor. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. When we come back, we'll talk about We Hardly Knew Ye, Emmanuel Clase. We'll find out what's going on as far as that is concerned. Paul-Hoynes is with us, Northeast Factory Direct, 3 great locations, east, west, and south. West 140th Street, Lakeland Boulevard, and Freeway Drive, that's in Macedonia. And of course, go to northeastfactorydirect.com. We'll come back in a moment with Paul-Hoynes. Tomorrow night, Friday night winners, that'll be with Dave Bacon, and that'll be tomorrow night from 6 until 7. More Sports and Les-levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Celebrate NatureStone's 30-year anniversary with a free NatureStone floor. During 2020, we will be giving away 30 free floors to 30 very lucky customers to say thank you for making NatureStone the best concrete flooring solution for garages, basements, and more. Call or visit naturestone.com today to register to win, and we'll send you a copy of our new buyer's guide absolutely free. There's no purchase necessary. Winners will be chosen monthly. With over 30 million square feet installed for more than 60,000 customers, it's easy to see why I always say it's not just a floor. Wow, it's NatureStone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Two 216-575-0403 if you'd like to talk to Paul-Hoynes, you can do that. Hoynesy, Emmanuel Clase, the only thing that comes to mind is what was he thinking?
Yeah, I mean, Les, I think, when they went to camp this year, you're thinking you've got James Karinchak, you've got Clase, 2 young guys, future closers probably, and they could, that both throw close to 100 miles an hour, and they could set up Brad Hand, the closer, and you're going to have one of the best back ends back into the bullpens in baseball. And then Clase, not only does he gets hurt like early in camp throwing a bullpen, probably, trying to impress people and trying to throw too hard. That's understandable. And then he gets banged with the 80-game suspension for PEDs. And, that was unfortunate. That, is not understandable, I guess. And my question is, when did he test positive? I think, it sounds like he tested positive after the trade, and perhaps he did that going into spring training, or perhaps he did that after he got hurt to help the healing process.
Well, if the deal between the owners and players calls for 82 games, and he's suspended for 80 of them, I think he has to pitch all 18 innings of those 2 games to make up his that investment.
He's done for this year, and you can't, even if they make the postseason, you can't pitch a player that tested positive in the postseason.
Right. 216-575-0403. So let's reevaluate the Corey-Kluber deal with Texas and see what that looks like now that you lose Clase, who was the centerpiece of that trade, wasn't he, as far as the Indians are concerned?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he was a young guy that, really, didn't pitch a whole lot last year, but he made the jump from A ball to the big leagues. Not many people do that. Was very impressive there. He was, throwing over 100 miles an hour. And Delino DeShields, the outfielder they got, said people are going to love this guy. I think he's going to be one of the best, relievers in baseball. And now you lose him for a year in kind of a shortened season, definitely a shortened season where you're going to have to every game you can win is going to count. You're going to have to do it right out of the gate. You can't like roll into this season. And he would have helped that process.
Is Terry Francona going to hold the grudge against Major League Baseball all season because of the 3-batter rule, or do you think he'll be okay with that?
I think he'll be okay with that. I think he'll deal with it. I think he's already dealt with it. I don't think he'll ever accept it, but hey, he better adjust.
Yeah. Have you been following the Michael Jordan story?
A little bit, yes.
Okay, I thought Francona came off great talking about a couple of years, the year and a half down there at Birmingham. Have you guys ever sat around and after a game or just BSing on the bus and talking about those days when he managed Jordan?
Yeah, we have, and he has some great stories about it. And I thought the one thing he said, it got him to where he could, kind of handle celebrity players or big name players. It really, as a Double-A manager, really just starting his career in that profession, he learned how to handle the media. He learned how to handle Jordan's personality and so I think it helped him throughout his career. And I think that's one of the things Francona does well is really relate to players, whether you're the bench guy, you're the utility infielder, or you're the number one starter. And he's always been able to do that. And I think he got a good start with Jordan.
Although it didn't pan out that well in his first major league attempt with Philadelphia.
No, well, he didn't have the greatest team either, but yeah, I mean, but it was a learning process, and I think, he would always say he screamed a lot in Philadelphia. I don't think he screams too much anymore. I think he learned, he got that. He wasn't reaching people that way. I don't think he was, and I think like most managers, you progress, and he landed in a great situation in Boston and has really made the most of his stay in Cleveland.
When he was handed that, Michael Jordan, and you say that he handled the players whether they were stars or not stars, and I'm just wondering, in Francona's case, did he do that because he was not a star player and knew how the bench players acted and what they needed to stay in shape, or is that part of what helped him?
I think so. I think when he was a high draft pick, he was a very good player. Then he blew out his knees, So he kind of saw the game from both levels, and he was, a great college player at Arizona. Helped them win the College World Series. So I think when you see the game, from the top and the bottom of the ladder, it's got to help you. And I think he was smart enough to recognize that.
No question about that. Paul Hoynes is with us, and he's got a rant coming up a little later at the end of the show. Haven't heard one in 2 or 3 months, Hoynes. I'm predicting a good one coming out. Just I've scouted you over the years, and I know when to expect a good one. I know how to play you, put the shift on, put an extra guy on the left side of the infield. That's how we do.
All the help I can get, believe me.
Well, you can explore your interests and find a program at Tri-C that puts you on the road to a bright future. Tri-C offers more than 1,000 courses and over 140 career and technical programs. Go to tri-c.edu to find out more information. We'll come on back in a moment with Hoynesy. We'll talk about Baker-Mayfield. We haven't talked about him in like 24 hours. Back in a moment, More Sports and Les-levine exclusively is powered by cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had 2 choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Brown's Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week, and it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Time for a look at sports. This date in sports history, May 14th, 1967. Mickey Mantle hits his 500th home run of his career. He hit it off Stu Miller of the Baltimore Orioles. Hoynesy, I was telling Brian in the control room about the most famous thing we all know and remember about Stu Miller. You want to verify what I told him?
That's when Earl Weaver had to smoke 2 packs of cigarettes to get through watching him pitch?
No, I'm thinking of the wind at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. And Miller
yeah, that's right. Is he the guy that got blown off the mound?
He's looking at the sign from the catcher. Next thing you know, he's flat on his face. Let's say hello to a guy who knows Major League pitcher. His son Adam Russell was a pitcher. It's Bill. Bill, how are you? North Olmsted. Bill, are you there?
Hold on. I'm not sure.
Go ahead.
I've been saying on your program for years, Les, about the Dolan being called cheap, but I've got a lot of old-time baseball fans that go back with me 50, 60 years that say that. And my comeback is, when I was a kid, Cleveland was the 6th largest city, and now it's the 51st largest city. And I don't see anybody standing in line waiting to buy the team. We're lucky to have 3 teams. I'm very happy that Dolan is our owner and has stayed with us.
Well, Hoynes, you remember as well as anybody that there wasn't anybody standing in line to buy it from Steve O'Neill when Dick and Bud and Dave Jacobs eventually wound up buying them. There wasn't anybody standing in line, despite what a huge profit they were able to make.
Right. Well, I've got my own rant before Hoynes gives his, because I ranted when the trade was made for when we got rid of Kluber, and I'm ranting even more now, given Clase. And I don't do that too often. I didn't like the trade of Colavito for Keene, but I understood it. I'm surprised that more people didn't look at the after trade when we got Willie Kirkland and Johnny Antonelli. Antonelli was 0-4, and Kirkland hit 202, and Harvey Keene had another 10 good years in the major league.
Now, you leave my guy Willie Horton alone. He was my favorite player with the toothpick, and he also hit 3 home runs in a game, and the 4th time up he sacrificed bunted. Don't mess with Willie Kirkland.
Yeah, but he wasn't Harvey Keene, quality player.
Right. Hoynes, wait, hold on, Bill, hold on. Hoynes, when you think about the Colavito trade with Detroit for Harvey Keene, the one that hurt him more is when they traded in the mid-'60s, when they traded him, gave up Tommy John and Tommy Agee. That hurt him every bit as much as the other did. The other was a bad PR move, among other things, but from a baseball standpoint, the second one hurt.
Yeah, Tommy John won 280 games in the big leagues. And
hold on.
The league in RBIs. And
Bill, hold on one second. Hoynes, you got cut off. Go ahead and say it again.
What Tommy John won, close to 300 games in the big leagues, 280, and had the greatest baseball-related operation named after him. And
we were talking
helped the Mets win the World Series, right?
We were talking about that before, that if you're going to have a surgery named after you, at that time it was kind of a minor surgery. It didn't label you as anything. And I just wondered what they told Tommy, what kind of surgery they were going to have. Listen, Tommy, we got this surgery. You don't have a name for it.
Patent the name. I wonder if he gets any residuals
royalties
from that.
All right, Bill, go ahead.
I always get a kick when Jordan's stay at Birmingham comes up, because the one thing he did down there, the minor leaguers got these long bus rides, and usually are in a pretty cruddy bus. But he bought this beautiful bus for him that my son, when he got to AA, which was at Birmingham, benefited. And I remember the first time Adam rode on that bus, he goes, man, after being out in the Western, or whatever they call Pioneer League, and at A levels and all that, had really crappy bus rides. But he said, this is luxury.
Yeah.
And it was one great aftermath of Jordan playing at Birmingham that one year.
Was Francona still the manager when Adam got there?
No, Rafael Santana was.
Oh, okay.
Quick question for Hoynes. With the virus thing going on and everything being up in the air about baseball, perhaps no fans in the stands, and if in fact Lindor does play with us at some point in time, what do you think the fans' attitude's going to be towards him, with the knowledge that he doesn't want to be here anymore? Do you think they'll start booing him? I mean, here's the champion guy.
Thank you, Bill. Go ahead, Hoynes.
I mean, that's one guy saying that. I don't know if he wants to be. I think if they paid him the right amount of money, he might stay here. But I just think his mindset is to leave. I really do. I think that's his right. He's a free agent after 6 years. He earned it.
I would have never thought that Jim Thome would have gotten booed here. So while on one hand I'm saying I doubt that Lindor would, you never know. Depends on how it actually comes out.
Albert Bell got booed here.
Well, I think we could predict that pretty much.
Yeah.
When they threw monopoly money out on the left field. 216-575-0403. Let's change to football for a second. Matt Terrell from rotoballer.com says that Baker-Mayfield is a fantasy player sleeper for those who do fantasy football. He says they returned the team returned a loaded group of skilled players, so the pressure will be on Mayfield to prove that his 2019 season was a fluke. Mayfield is just being drafted around pick number 106 as QB 13, making him a solid choice for fantasy drafters. who choose to sit out on selecting a player, he should end up being a nice value player for his drafters at that price. Mike Greenberg, I think, is following suit. Hoynes, if you're following what the national guys are saying, pretty much all the same. They're starting to blame Freddie Kitchens for what happened last year and some injuries and other things. Mike Greenberg of ESPN says it's interesting. Last year, maybe we all overrated the Browns. Now we're underrating them. If you look at the names on the backs of the jerseys, you see that the Browns should be really good. Should be a really good football team. So they're coming around nationally. 216-575-04.
But isn't this what they said last year too? If you look at the names on the back of the uniform, they should be a good.
Well, let's see. The Browns, Jim Brown, if the All-Star teams or the Pro Bowl teams would have put their names on the back and the team on the front, he'd be Brown of the Browns. Jerry West was the only guy. Jerry West was the only.
To have a good year.
Yeah. Jerry West was the only guy to have his front, when he played in the All-Star game, he'd have his name on the front and the back of his jersey.
No.
Northeast Factory Direct, they've got 3 locations, including plus the website, and they're east and west and south. Lakeland Boulevard, that's in Euclid, the old B&B appliance store, and West 140th Street near the airport and Freeway Drive, that's in Macedonia. Alex has been in the business 20 years, and what a business he has developed and grown throughout all of Northeast Ohio. Sokolowski's University Inn, just waiting to make their decision and find out what they can do and what they can't do. It's a place you want to support, and it is the only winner of in Cleveland, the only winner of the James Beard Foundation Award, and that happened about 4 or 5 years ago. Congratulations to them, and they can't wait to get back, and we'll announce it here when that happens. We'll come back in a moment. More Sports and Les-Levine continues. Paul Hoynes is with us exclusively, powered by cleveland.com.
Your home is your most important investment, and your basement is the go-to part of your home. It's your children's rec room. It's where your family and friends spend time together. It's much more than just a basement. Now is the perfect time to add beauty and value to your home with an authentic NatureStone basement floor. And every NatureStone floor comes with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. For a limited time, get our exclusive mini pearl stone for as low as $2.99 a square foot, plus installation. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's NatureStone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
We are just one segment away from a Paul Hoynes rant. You getting ready in the bullpen? You can only face 3 ranters. Let's take a look at what Pro Football Focus. Here, how about this, Hoynesy? Pro Football Focus people ran 10,000 simulations of the NFL season coming up. 10,000 just to see how many wins each team would have. So let's take a look at the AFC North projection and see what they're thinking. They're thinking the Ravens are going to be on top with 10,000 of those simulations. They figure they average out to 10.5 wins. The Browns second with 8 wins. Pittsburgh at 7.7 and Cincinnati at 6.7. Then the playoff picture, the AFC totals, Kansas City, the Super Bowl winner at 11.2, Baltimore 10.5, Tennessee 10.2, Buffalo 7.9, the Colts at 8.2, the Browns at 8, and then 7.9 from the Houston Texans. Hoynesy, could you imagine playing out 10,000 simulated games
No.
The short answer and the long answer
Let
is
the
no.
computer do the work.
It's unbelievable.
As long as I didn't have to add and subtract, I'd be all right.
The Facebook question of the day today, we asked. We get to ask this every week, Hoynesy. Assuming that the NFL plays a full season, what is your projected win total for the Browns in 2020? Aaron Woods says 10 wins for the Browns in 2020, hoping all is well and we can play. Glenn Berger says 9 wins, but then again, I was optimistic last year. Kevin Quinby, 9 wins. Ted Moon, after reviewing the schedule in detail, we have a shot at 10-6, but I'm thinking more in the neighborhood of 9-7, and no asterisks if the Indians win the 2020 World Series. Larry Pantages says 7-9. Be encouraged, it's far better than the first year of Tom Landry, 0-11-1, and Chuck Noll at 1-13. Michael Hart says 20. We even sweep the preseason games.
Wow. He's optimistic, you know?
Yeah, what can I tell you? Last year, like many years on the Browns schedule, in the last 20, kind of a wasted year. No question about that. Paul-Hoynes is with us. Hoynesy, when you look at this, I mean, everybody is a contender. If baseball plays out the way they're talking about with the 82-game season and the Central Division, East and West, and of course that would be Central for the Indians with the National League and the American League. So I don't know if anybody has an advantage that way. But I'll tell you one thing, every game will be important.
Oh, yeah, definitely, Les. It's like, playing the second half, coming out of the All-Star break, and, you're all positioned and ready to go. It's going to be like a sprint, not a marathon this time around. And it's really going to be interesting, I think, to see how they handle the roster. The roster's obviously going to be expanded. We've read that like maybe 30 with maybe a taxi squad of 20 guys. And, how they interchange that. So
yeah,
that's the interesting
they're
thing.
talking about 30 players dressing each game. Is that what they're saying?
Yes, okay. That would be, I think, coming out of the gate. Now, I don't know if they would drop that back down after 2-3 weeks, a month to 26.
Is that to lighten the load on the pitcher's arms? Is that what that's all about?
Just to protect the pitchers, because it's going to be such a short spring if they do get started.
You think they can make it like Little League where every player has to play 3 innings?
They might have to. It might be like a spring training game, where the regulars go 2 innings and everybody else. Then you empty you bring all the kids over from the minors.
Who's that number 97 out there batting in the 4th slot? Yeah. So, Hoynesy getting ready for a rant. We can't wait for that. We have the voicemail of Truth and Reason. If you'd like to call in, you see us live from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time, but you can't call us at that time. You can call the voicemail of Truth and Reason. 216-200-6650 is the number to call. We'll take a break. We'll come on back. We'll see if there's some quickies. We'll see what else we have to clean up before Hoynesy gets to a well-rested rant. I think it's been about 3 months since he's had one that we know of. And we'll find out what he's got in the chamber today. More Sports and Les-Levine continues. Paul Hoynes exclusively on cleveland.com.
Your home is your most important investment, and your garage is the entrance to your home. It's where your kids come in from school. It's where your family and friends gather together. It's much more than just a garage. Now is the perfect time to add beauty and value to your home with an authentic NatureStone garage floor. And every NatureStone floor comes with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. For a limited time, get our exclusive gray brown blend stone for as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's NatureStone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery, partners in education, where stars shine.
Coming up tomorrow, it's Dave Bacon with the Weekend Winners Edition. Ellis L. Williams will join him. That's tomorrow night from 6 until 7. I don't know who's going to be here Monday, but Tuesday it'll be Bud Shaw. Wednesday it will be Dennis Maniloff. All right, this is the moment that we've all been waiting for. We need our sports fix here, and instead of that, we get Paul Hoynes with the Paul Hoynes rant, which is better than any sports fix you can ever imagine. What do you got for us tonight?
Les, I don't blame the players for being, anxious about going back and playing. Not only are they dealing with the virus, but they've taken a pay cut, and so I understand that. But what I think is going on right now, this is going to be the first big test for the union. They've had labor peace since the end of the 1994-1995 season. At that strike where they canceled the World Series, there's been labor peace now. And now, all of a sudden, Tony Clark, the executive director of the Players Association, is in a critical situation, maybe his first. And so what do they do? Do they talk the talk like Blake Snell? Or are they going to walk the walk too? Will they really, over this issue, are they going to walk away and not play a season? Or are they going to really do like their predecessors, the guys that walked the picket lines, that shut down seasons, that gave them the union that has been able to make that has made them wealthy players. That's the situation here. And if they do walk away, what does that say for the upcoming negotiations at the end of the 2021 season with the basic agreement? So that's the situation the union is in. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think they will reach a compromise. I do. I think they both need/want to play, but this is the people that are getting tested here are Tony Clark and the union and the players. They haven't faced a situation like this for over 20 years, and it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. And Les, on another topic. I've been sitting in my office, for weeks and weeks and weeks. Just sitting outside watching what's going on on the street. And you know what, Les? You know what? I never thought we had this many dogs in our neighborhood. I mean, I used to walk my dog in the morning and, nobody'd be out there. Now I'm looking out the window, there's dogs all over the place. And, it's like puppy palooza out there, dogs walking around. And you know what else I've discovered, Les? There's actually kids in our neighborhood, kids who like to play outside. They're riding their bikes up and down the street. They're riding skateboards. They're yelling and screaming. They haven't ripped their fenders off their bikes or spray painted them like we used to do. But, I think that's right around the corner. And then, there's people actually, I've seen people actually playing catch. Not with a soccer ball, not with a football, with a baseball. They're playing catch in their front yards. The daughters, fathers and daughters, sons and fathers, they're actually playing catch. The daughter throws the ball over the father's head. She has to go run and catch it, but the game continues. So, this is interesting. This is an interesting thing, and Les, what we're going through right now, it's a terrible thing. It really is. I hope, and I don't think the country's ever been through something like this, not since the Spanish flu in 1909. And but I hope it ends. I really, and when it does, I'll be celebrating just like everybody else. But as we go through this thing, I think we've learned something from it. I think we're learning something from it, and I hope when it's over, we can maybe look back on this and see the good. Some good that's come out of it.
Well, first of all, you went seamlessly on your move from the seriousness of the labor thing to the kids on the street. Let me just tell you a couple of things. Number one, the kids have always been on the street. You've been out covering baseball all over the country. So how would you know? The other thing is that I You probably thought you lived in a gated elderly community, but apparently not, with all the dogs
Right,
and all
yeah.
the sons and daughters.
Everybody and this is like it's turned into a mall. You know, where people walking around used to walk around malls.
When did you move in? When did you move in?
People have campfires in their driveways in the evening. They're sitting around, socially distanced. Everybody says hello to each other. It's unusual.
All right, got a minute or two. Anything you'd like to just throw out there that you didn't touch on tonight?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens to the minor leagues, Les. If they have this like 20, I don't think anything from A ball down below is going to get played this year. And the Indians are stocked with all these young minor league players, from A ball that are ready to play, maybe jump to high A or to Lake County or Lynchburg. And what happens to those kids that if they lose a whole year of development? I'm really wondering how the Indians are going to handle that and how big a setback it is to them. And then also, what do they do with this? I've heard that they're probably going to have to keep either some form of their AAA and AA teams together. And where do they go? Do they go to Columbus? Do they travel with the Indians? Are you really going to have a 50 player traveling party? I can't believe that. Are they going to go out to Goodyear, Arizona, and stay sharp out there, play inter-squad games? So those are some of the details that I'm waiting to see how they unfold.
Don't you think that Rob Manfred sort of wanted that to close off the minor leagues and lessen the amount of expense involved in that? Isn't that kind of what he wanted to do?
Yeah, well, this comes on the tail end or it's involved in the negotiations
right.
of the big leagues trying to cut at least 40 minor league teams, affiliated teams from the minor leagues, to bring it down from I think 160 to 160 to maybe 140, 120, right. and to cut back the draft as well. So you don't need to have as many players to fill all those teams.
That's too bad, because some of the great moments in baseball that fans enjoy is if they ever had a chance to see minor league baseball in some of the smaller towns. It reminds you how great the game of baseball is. Blake Snell has reminded us how bad it can be also.
Hey,
whatever.
Somebody should whisper in that guy's ear.
Hoynesy, great as always. We'll keep in touch and find out the new developments and get you back on as soon as we can, okay?
All right, Les. Thanks,
right,
man.
Paul Hoynes, follow him at the Plain Dealer and cleveland.com. All right, that'll do it for us. Ellis L. Williams will join Dave Bacon tomorrow night from 6 until 7. I'll see you back on Monday. Stay safe out there. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.